We're graduating! Isn't it exciting?
Yes, we made it! But I don't really know what I want to do next.
Did you know you can talk to the Education and Career Guidance Counselors in SP? Based on your personal needs and interests, they can help you make informed decisions and guide you on your next steps. These consultations are available for up to 3 years, so it's great for those enlisting in NS too. No matter which path you decide on, there are many career and further education webinars, talks, and workshops lined up for you to gain more insights and be well prepared.
What if I end up regretting my choices?
It's never too late for change. If you ever feel stuck in the future, the PACE Academy in SP supports reskilling and upscaling. They offer many programs and you might just discover a new passion there. For fresh graduates, they also have the Work Study program, which lets us further our learning while gaining work experience.
I don't know if I can count on myself to keep exploring for new opportunities.
Honestly, me too. But I recently found out that the alumni workshops and networking sessions are great for that. You should follow SPAN Alumni on social media for updates on upcoming events and even career or lifestyle tips. Best yet, stay connected by updating your particulars on the student or alumni portals and get your free alumni e-card on the SP mobile app for special perks. Venturing our next steps can feel exciting and daunting at the same time. But remember, SP is always here to journey with us, whenever.
Hello and welcome to our session number 5 business management webinar of our Singapore Polytechnic's Virtual Career Symposium 2022, where we bring journeying with you beyond SP. My name is Derek, with the MC for this webinar as well. And for my friends online, okay, if you have been with us since session 3 this morning, really happy to know that you are here with us until now. Okay, and for those of you who have just joined, let me give you a short breakdown on the program for this webinar. Okay, so first of all, we'll start off with an opening and welcome address by Mr. So Wai Wah, our principal and CEO of Singapore Polytechnic. Afterwards, okay, we will have Mr. M. Tiagarajan, okay, our lead student outreach SB Singapore Polytechnic as well. Later on, there's going to be a bit of fun because we will have quizzes, okay, through the whole webinar for you guys to answer. And by participating in these quizzes, okay, if you get them right, you stand a chance to win cash vouchers, okay? Prizes are to be won, so please participate actively. Okay, we do have industry partners, okay, coming on board to speak and to share with us their experiences and their insights of the industry. So please do stay tuned. And towards the end of the webinar, we will have a panel discussion with all of them together with Mr. Rajan to moderate this session. Okay, if you guys are watching this, okay, towards the right side of your screen, okay, I believe there's a panel that says ask your question here. Okay, so that is where you can type in all of your Q&As during the panel discussion to let our panelists answer. Okay, so if you're wondering what you should do to enter the industry, what sort of things you need to prepare, what sort of education level you need to have, okay, that's where you can ask everything. Okay, during the sharing sessions by our industry speakers as well, you may feel free to ask the question whenever. All right, so I believe you guys already know what's going on today. So to kick things off, okay, shall I please invite Mr. Rajan up first for his welcome speech. Mr. Rajan, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rajan, and I'm a lecturer with the School of Business. The title of our webinar is Career in Business Management Sector. I'm so happy to see you all gathered for today's Career Symposium. In this symposium, there are various parties involved. We have third-year students who are about to graduate. Then we have those who have graduated. And finally, we have our wonderful speakers. Regardless of who we are, there is something that will be niggling us throughout our lives, our career path. The School of Business has done its best to ensure that all of you are well prepared for the rigors of the working world. In the 3 years with the School of Business, students are equipped with domain knowledge, supplemented with hands-on practical training, client-based projects, and internships, which is why, as our future alumni, a promising future awaits you. You will be highly recognized by our industry and many universities and professional bodies for your specialized yet broad-based education. Now, this bold claim I'm making, I'm sure will be validated by our esteemed alumni present here. A key ingredient in your decision-making for your career choice will be passion. About 30 years ago, I joined the Ministry of Defense. In my last posting, I was advising the Minister for Defense about the conduct of defense relations with other countries. Now, while it was a highly gratifying job, there was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to do something to make the younger generation think fast and act fast. I decided that the best thing to do is to join Singapore Polytechnic School of Business, just like you did, to actualize my dream. It has been 20 years since I joined the school. Frankly, nothing much has changed. 20 years ago, I was advising the minister. And for the last 20 years, I have been advising students and graduates. What has kept me going is passion, which is why the School of Business encourages the graduating students and fresh alumni to find a career that they are passionate about. Because in order to do well, you need to be passionate about what you do. Take today's session to listen to the industry speakers with an open heart and an open mind and gain some valuable insights from them. We will start with an opening remarks by SP Principal and CEO, Mr. So Wai Hua. Then, our speakers will share some industry insights with you. I'm pleased that we have Farhan Firdaus, partner, Neat Ventures, Henner Schoon, founder and PR consultant, Schoonworks, and Rajkumar Permar, Managing Director, International Paradise Connections Tours and Travels Private Limited. After the industry insights, there will be a panel discussion. You can take this opportunity to ask questions that you have by keying them into Slido. We will be addressing your questions during the Q&A segment. Today's Career Symposium is an invaluable opportunity for you to hear from SP graduates about how they charted their future. Furthermore, the Career Symposium will give you an opportunity to be part of our large and established alumni network in the industry to broaden your frontiers and build business and personal networks. Wish you all an enjoyable and fruitful session. We will now start with an opening remark by SP Principal and CEO, Mr. So Wai Hua.
Industry speakers, alumni, graduating students, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SP Virtual Career Symposium 2022. At SP, we prepare our students to be life ready, work ready, and world ready. When our students graduate, we do not just say goodbye, but also see you again. This is because we continue to support them as our alumni in providing them career guidance and equipping them with continual education to be their partner in lifelong learning. This Career Symposium is an example of our continuous support to our students beyond their graduation. It seeks to provide our graduating students and alumni access to career advice. Our invited speakers come from various industry sectors. They are representatives from multinational corporations, small and medium enterprises, trade associations and chambers, and of course, government agencies. They will be able to share diverse perspectives and the various career pathways. I'm pleased to share that more than half of our invited speakers are SP alumni. SP is proud of their success that they have achieved in their careers. Their holistic experiences are a testament that SP graduates are well prepared for the workforce of the future and well equipped to contribute to the transformation of Singapore. They are inspiration for what all our alumni can become. I hope our graduating students and alumni will take this opportunity to explore the exciting prospects in each industry and exploit the opportunities that lie ahead. I would like also to thank all our industry speakers for taking time to be here to share their invaluable knowledge and insights at this Career Symposium. I wish graduating students and all alumni a fruitful time today. And beyond this symposium, I hope to see you all again at our various alumni and continuing education platforms. Thank you very much.
Thank you, SP Principal and CEO, for those motivating words. Now it is time to meet our industry speakers. The first presentation is by Farhan Fidaus, partner, Meet Ventures. His topic is the beginning with the end in mind. Farhan, please.
Very good day to all of you. Once again, Farhan Fidaus here from Meet Ventures. We are an innovation consulting firm. What I do as well is I'm an advisory committee member with King's College London Entrepreneurship Society, also an advisor to Ministry of Education's Applied Education Committee, as well as Singapore Polytechnic School of Business. Outside of work, I also actively give back to the community through the grassroots. Now, a little bit about myself. I've been featured in a few in a few print medias and so on. Some people call me an angel investor. Some people call me, a sustainability consultant and so on. So I've been featured over time, and called different names. But I think essentially I am in the world of startups, technology startups, sustainability startups, and I essentially that is what I do. I help listed companies and MNCs work very closely with startups, right? So some of the things over the years, so recently I was selected by the US State Department to represent Singapore as a future leader for startups and SMEs. So that's right. I'll be going to the Silicon Valley in August this year. I also received the Chua Tiampo Scholarship for further studies for my master's degree at NTU for being an ecosystems developer, helping startups to grow, right? And I've also been selected to speak at TEDx a couple of years ago. So essentially, as I've shared, what I do at Meet Ventures is I run an innovation consulting firm, and I help I help listed companies, MNCs, to basically build their innovation as well as their venture capital capabilities, which means that I work with such big companies as well as nurturing startups in our Asia ecosystem. I've worked with many startups over the years, and the startups all. So I have personally mentored 500 founders, but I've worked with many more startups. So some of the startups that I personally managed to nurture in their development through running incubators, accelerators, and so on, or even invested in range startups from Southeast Asia, East Asia, as well as other parts of. So mainly it's in Asia, in Southeast Asia and East Asia, right? So so I think as you understand that I am in the world of startups. So I think the interest, or rather, it stems from many years ago when I was 9 years old. My early story of entrepreneurship. So I saw an opportunity when I was in the school bus. So I was going to school as a primary school student. I was taking the school bus, and I realized that my peers had nothing to do on the school bus. We were all very bored, right? Basically there was a lot of gap time in between from our homes to school and school back home on the school bus. So I saw an opportunity to basically make my peers not so bored on the school bus. So I started to basically print for them Walt Disney calendars, which they can draw and color and so on. And I made money from that as a 9-year-old kid. Not bad, right? Now, when I was 11 to 12 years old, again, I think that's when there was an opportunity for me to, during the holidays, during Christmas, work at one of my relatives' shops. So he's basically running one of the bigger, chain of toy stores in Singapore today. So I was working for him when I was 11 to 12 years old, and I was selling toys. And that's where I picked up sales skills at the age of 11 or 12. Started selling toys, being very confident. And I can remember the place where I was selling toys was at Change Alley in Raffles Place. So, so that's my early story of entrepreneurship. So I think after primary school, I went to secondary school and so on at ITE and Singapore Polytechnic. So of course I went to ITE, and ITE gave me a lot of opportunities which enabled me to progress to Singapore Polytechnic. But it was in both institutions that I basically studied business. I studied business, administration in particular. And after that, I progressed to SMU to do my bachelor's degree. But of course, a different course. I was studying social science, right? Because it was also my area of interest. But of course, when I was in SMU, although it was a different course, I also picked up skills along the way that has contributed to who I am today, right? So so I think overall in terms of my work experience, so while I was in university, I was spending 4 years while I was studying in the university. I was working part-time at the Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth as a special projects officer working with schools. So I never wasted my time in that 4 years. While I was studying, I was working because I wanted that work experience and I knew that it was going to be valuable, right? So as I mentioned, I worked with schools. So as soon as I graduated, I found a job with the Singapore National Cooperative Federation as a manager for campus. So what does it mean? They were looking at my previous track record of working with schools for the past 4 years and gave me that job. They felt that I was the right person for the right job. And of course, after working with schools for almost a year, I basically joined a fast-growing, large startup, which was a healthcare startup, Series B. And over there for 2.5 years, I learned how to build sales for the company and I managed people. And later on, for another 2.5 years, I joined an investment company. I was responsible for partnerships and I started building startups under my company, right? So my company had invested into many different startups. And of course, when I was offered to study doing my master's, that was when I started to run my own business with my business partner. And that's where I started to culminate and put everything together, right? My skills of building sales pipelines, my partnership skills, ability to build startups, and even managing people. So essentially, you can say that about 5 to 6 years of experience, everything culminated in my current business, right? So how did I make my career choice? Was it that simple? I think for me, what was evident was that I was self-aware. I knew that I was interested in certain things, right? So I think for me, it was a self-awareness of my interest in entrepreneurship. And the second thing was that my self-awareness that of who I wanted to be. One of my dream was to be just like my father, who was a corporate person, right? Or even be better than him. So I knew that I could thrive, or I yearn to be in a business setting, right? I think the slight deviation was when I was pursuing my bachelor's degree in social sciences. So although it wasn't in business, but I think at the end of the day, that 4 years, I think it has helped me to basically today do international business better, because I understand global environments, I understand how to deal with governments, I understand cross-cultural relationship, and all these thanks to my 4 years of studying social sciences, right? So so I think one way to, when joining a course, you need to understand yourself, but you also need to understand the trends, the developments, the future. So the industry of tomorrow, right, is one of technology. It is a STEM world: science, technology, engineering, math, right? So you are preparing yourself for the workforce of today and tomorrow, right? At least for the next 10 years. So at present, we are in the age of ABCD, which is AI, blockchain, cloud computing, and data analytics today, right? And the work of the future will involve us working with machines, right? Together with machines to value add the work that we do. And a lot of the things on how we do things will change. So for example, in terms of product and services, there'll be more focus on personalization at the individual level, and there will be greater emphasis on customer experience for products and services. So this will be the changes of the future, right? Which is why today you hear words like UI, UX, right? User interface, user experience. So these are already indications of where we'll be moving for the future. So the future will not just be a technological future, but it will also be a future that is greener, right? So climate change is a buzzword today. And, especially with 2030 global warming and so on, especially with ever since COP26 in 2021 that happened, the world has been re-examining and rethinking how we live, work, play, and do business, right? And that's where governments, MNCs, and even investors are pledging to be greener, right? So, and according to Kelly Services, which is a global recruitment agency, it is estimated that there are about 5 million people in the global energy sector, and this is expected to grow by 12 times, increase by 12 times to 60 million people in the not so distant future. So it means that there will be a lot of opportunities in the green sector or sustainability sector as well. So Singapore, there was a Straits Times article that was just released on 14th of February, right? Saying that the jobs of today are moving towards data scientists, lab technicians, software engineers, digital marketing, innovation, and so on. But it was also revealed what the jobs of the future will look like, and it was stated that jobs of the future will be in areas such as advanced manufacturing, digital economy, and the green economy. It was specifically stated. So we know where the future jobs will be, and we know where the opportunities will be. Right. So at the personal level, so now that you know where the trends will be, you know where the future is heading, what can you do at the personal level, right? What can you do when you are deciding for a course? First, know the trends, as I've shared with you just now. But you must also, at your level, right, find out what you're good at, right? What's your personality? Are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert, right? Are you a big picture person? Attention to detail. This will all guide you with regards to what you will choose, right? So essentially for me, as you can see, I'm an extrovert. I can never do accounting. I can never be behind the desk. So I'm more of a people person. So which is why my strengths, I do business development very well. So you need to know yourself, right? So you need to understand your interests, right? So, and all these, you can see it at an early age. So while you're in primary school, secondary school, what do you do outside of school, within school? Are you a math person, science person? Are you a geography person? This will all help to guide you to where you want to be, right? And draw on your strengths, right? What subjects do you naturally incline or do better with that when you were studying, right? In my case, it was very clear. So as I've shared with you, I'm more of a business development, salesperson, partnerships person. Now, when I was in school, I was naturally good in English. I was naturally good in anything that was humanities related, right? And then when I moved on to Poly and ITE, I think for me, where my strengths were, I usually took up leadership positions, and I led clubs and societies as president, vice president, very naturally. And today, that's why it's second nature for me to assume leadership roles. So I think these are all what you do in school, outside of school, can give you a little bit of an insight of what you would like to do, or you can do, or you're good at doing. Other things that you can do is in order to explore a little bit more is to do a little bit of job shadowing, do a little bit of research on the industry that you want to get in, or do multiple internships for you to explore what you truly like. Now, assume that you're already in school. So what do you do while you're in school? Please do not waste your time in school. Maximize your time while you're in school studying. Get involved in CCAs, maximize your learning, right? Do your homework on your industry and understand where your industry is heading now in the next 5 years. Get involved in multiple internships. Do internships within school. Do internships. I would say you can do more internships, and you can even do international internships when we are able to fly again, right? Because international internships overseas gives you different exposures as well. Get involved in competitions. Build skills that you never thought you knew, never thought you had. Build your credibility through competitions. Build your network in your industry. This is something that students don't do. Many students fail to do this. Join a student chapter of your trade industry or trade association. Build networks, because when you join the workforce, right, even if you manage to find the first job on your by yourself, future job roles that requires management and supervisory skills and all that, you may want. I mean, there are many reasons why you join an industry association, right? One is to build networks. Two is to understand better about the industry. Three is to learn from each other. Four is for upgrading, and so on. And just a last point from me, how do you prepare for the workforce? According to the World Economic Forum, there is a Future of Jobs Report 2020. So I outlined 10 skills that you want to pick up, that you should pick up for jobs of the future from 2025 and beyond. And out of these 10 recommended skills, 5 seem to focus on problem solving, which suggests that this is an area of importance of workers of tomorrow, right? So some of the skills include analytical thinking, complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, and reasoning. Try to find things that you can do in school that can invoke these 5 skills, right? Or anything that you can do outside of school, and so on. You find ways to acquire these skills. The second most important skills are technology use. Now, technology use is easy. You can always attend short courses. Nowadays, right, with Coursera, you can go on General Assembly. You can go for Skills Future programs, very short, very affordable, to learn technology skills, to learn different skills like Python programming, etc., right? But there are certain things that are not easily learned, as I mentioned just now, like the 5 problem-solving related skills and even self-management skills. These are things that you learn through things like internship, working with people, joining CCAs, joining committees and associations in your industry, and so on. Right? So I hope that this has been very useful. But remember, if you don't remember a lot of things that I've shared, remember one thing. By Alexander Graham Bell, in order to be successful, before anything else, you need to prepare. Preparation is the key to success. I wish you all the best, and I hope to see you in jobs of the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fan Firdaus. And I believe, you wowed me at the start, when you mentioned you started as young as 9 years old. You sold Walt Disney calendars to your friends, your classmates on school buses. You printed them out on your own. And it's not just print. You had the idea of letting them color and everything. You started as young as 9 years old. That really, really wowed me. And I guess for our viewers as well, I believe our speaker has covered as well on how to prepare for the workforce of tomorrow. Get the 10 different skills, and as well, things that you should take note of as well is to focus on your studies while in school. Do your homework on your industry. I think this is very important. I totally agree. And get involved in multiple internships, be it locally or internationally, because if you go overseas for internships or to try things out, you see things from a different perspective, and you see how other countries' workflow is, and you get to gain a bit of knowledge and skill sets from there as well. Get involved through school or externally in competitions that involve your industry, because that is how you get to first touch base with whatever is happening in the industry as well. And most importantly, last point is to build network in your industry, because networking is really, really very important. Your connections, the people that you know, will eventually help you out in this long journey of yours. Yes, and right now, okay, before we move on to the rest of the speakers, we have our quiz number one. Okay, remember I mentioned about quiz earlier on. So we can take a look at our quiz question number one right now. And how do you participate? Very simple. You scan the QR code that's on the screen. Okay, and then you simply answer this question, okay, or you can go to the URL link if you have troubles trying to scan the QR code. Okay, or you can key it into any web browser that you prefer. And here goes question number one. What does VUCA stand for? Is it A, vulnerability, universality, complexity, ambiguity? That's A. Option B, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, or ambiguity. Okay. Option C, volatility, universality, capability, and ambivalence. Or is it D, versatility, unpredictability, capability, and ambivalence? Well, this is like a tongue twister, man. Okay, so the question is there. Okay, I hope you guys have already scanned the QR code and answer the question. Once again, okay, if you guys haven't joined us in this quiz, quickly scan the QR code right now, okay, because you guys have about 1 minute more. Okay, if you participate in these quizzes, okay, and if you get them correct, you stand a chance to win cash vouchers. Okay, so once again, prizes are to be won. So quickly scan the QR code right now. Okay, another 1 more minute for you guys to answer this question. Okay, and that is question number one. Okay, we have two more questions coming up later on. Okay, one after our next speakers, and of course, one more after the panel discussion. Okay, I hope after listening to our first speaker, okay, you do have some questions in mind. So if you want to ask any question to be addressed later on during the panel discussion and Q&A segment, you can type in your question, okay, towards the right side of your screen right now. Okay, the panel that says ask your question here. All right, and right now I would like to proceed on, okay, with our next few speakers. Can I please once again invite Mr. Rajan to introduce the rest of our speakers? Mr. Rajan, please.
Next, we have Hannah Schoon, founder and PR consultant, Schoonwords, who will talk about landing your first job and more. And to talk more about that, Hannah, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Hannah Schoon, the founder of Schoonwords, a boutique PR and content agency. I started this company last November after being a public servant for 10 years. So today, I'm really happy to be here to share about how you could land your first job and more to come. I'm happy to be here because like you, just over 20 odd years ago, I was wondering what to do with my life. I was graduating from Singapore Polytechnic, and I was wondering what my next steps will be. So with that, you know my age. Yeah, so I think the questions on my mind are very similar to what the questions you have in mind right now. Should I apply for a job? Should I go straight to university? But for me, I chose to apply for a job first to get in some work experience and figure out what I wanted to study in the uni. And I'm glad I did that. So for many of you who are applying for your first jobs or in your first jobs already, I would like to share 3 key things with you. So the first is the importance of soft skills. Second, the importance of finding your ikigai or your sweet spot. And third, 3 career tips to get ahead. Okay, so starting off, your Singapore Polytechnic School of Business diploma will open up a lot of doors to opportunities across different industries. But beyond the hard skills and the knowledge that you've packed in from your lecturers and your modules, you may ask, why are soft skills important? So let me tell you why. For example, if you have 2 people applying for the same job, which one will employers pick? Let's just assume that these 2 people have the same education background, same, maybe they even look the same. What makes the employer hire one person over the other? So this is why I would like to share a HR framework with you that I learned about, and it's proven very useful. So this is called the 4Q career age. Now we all know about what IQ is. It's called IQ is the intelligence quotient, right? But what are the other Qs about? What is EQ, DQ, CQ, and even AQ? And let me tell you a story about all these Qs. So these Qs collectively can make the difference between being hired and being not hired. And if you are in your first job already, these can move you from surviving to thriving. So when it comes to EQ, the first Q, EQ is one of the more widely known ones. It's emotional intelligence. It's the ability to monitor, understand, and act upon emotions wisely. So these are people with strong self-awareness and strong self-regulation. They are mindful, empathetic, authentic, and very real. And these are people you can connect with very easily. Then the second Q is DQ, decency quotient. This is important when you work for a company or a team, because what we do want is for you to understand that you are part of a larger picture. You are a team player who is humble, respectful of differences and diversity. And this is important because while you're part of your team, it's important to recognize you're part of a bigger organization and company, and eventually, and also society. And when it comes to CQ or curiosity quotient, this is the ability to stay curious and to have a spirit for continuous learning. And these are individuals that who are agile, flexible, adaptive, and innovative. It's so important to keep learning because technology evolves so fast. And if you don't keep up with learning, you fall behind. And if you fall behind too much, you get obsolete. So this is why, even after completing your diploma, I strongly encourage you to keep learning. Sign up for courses, read widely, and just pick up new skills along the way. And last but not least, we come to the adversity quotient or AQ. This is a gauge of how a person responds to difficult situations. And not just in work, but in life. It's never smooth sailing. There will be stressful moments. There will be moments that challenge you, that go out of your comfort zone, and you wonder what to do. So this is where you need that spirit of positivity. You need to build your resilience, your grit, be that solution-oriented problem solver that we all want. And the next question you have is probably, how do I know what is the right job for me? Or, how do I even know this is the right fit? And how do I make sense of what I want to do? These are all important questions because the average human spends 1/3 of our lives working, and that is a long time. So this is why I would like to share the popular Japanese concept of ikigai with you. Ikigai just means a reason for being. And understanding this will help you to understand what is your career direction, your life purpose, and what brings you meaning. To sum it up, this means the sweet spot between what you love, what you are good at, and what you can be paid for. So then the next question would be, how would you discover your sweet spot and what gets you going? And one of the things that I share with my mentees, over our sessions is that it's so important to know and understand yourself as the first step to knowing that. Because people thrive when their sense of identity aligns with their professional and personal ambitions and lives. And, if we were to break it down simply, there are just 3 main areas you could look at, for a start. The first is your personality. Are you more of an introvert or an extrovert? Do you thrive on drawing energy alone, or do you thrive on drawing energy when you're in a crowd or with people and, friends and surrounded by company? So to understand this, just take the MBTI test. It's widely available online and there are even free ones. And the next is your aptitude. What are you naturally good at? What are your talents? What are your strengths? And the most important question is what jobs and roles can pay you for this? And it's okay. And it's okay if you're still figuring out, all you need to do is just take up different tasks and be open to exploring new roles and new things and new activities all the time. And last but not least, we come to your passions. What gets you excited? What gets you waking up every morning? And what are your hobbies and your interests? What doesn't feel like work to you? And if you think about that, then you will naturally gravitate to a few industries you might want to work in because you're just passionate about the cause. To conclude this sharing, I would like to share my top 3 tips with you as you embark on your career journey or are in your first jobs right now. So the first is to start a LinkedIn profile if you haven't already done so. LinkedIn is a powerful professional platform to build your profile and to get to know your peers as well as to connect with people in the industry. And to do so, I highly recommend a professional headshot that you can do to show people that you are serious about furthering your career ambitions. I mean, perception is reality, and the best thing you can do for yourself is to present your best face forward. The other thing is to share your key responsibilities and your job experience on LinkedIn. It doesn't matter that you may not have much job experience at this point of time, but what you could do share is share key milestones from your internships or even your part-time jobs. And just make sure that if there are any key milestones, like say if award-winning projects, award-winning final year projects, and what your concept and idea was, please put them in. The other thing I would suggest is to follow companies you are keen to join, to find out their latest news, to find out who their management is, and to find out the job opportunities that they post. And please also set job alerts for yourself on LinkedIn so that these pop up in your email consistently. The second thing is to prepare a great resume on standby. You never know where somebody might require your resume or want to know more about you and subsequently offer you a job. And the best way to do this is to run it through people in the industry you want to join to check if this lines up with them. And thirdly, I would recommend that you could find a mentor because this could accelerate your learning curve and help you to spot pitfalls ahead of you. So one of the best ways is to find an industry veteran you look up to or someone that you respect that you could learn from. To conclude, I hope these tips and questions have been helpful and useful for you. And if you have further questions or would like to connect, please reach me on email or LinkedIn. And I look forward to welcoming all of you to the workforce, and I wish you every continued success.
Thanks, Hannah, for addressing an issue. Next up is Rajkumar Perumal, Managing Director, International Paradise Connections Tours and Travels Private Limited, whose topic is redefining business during pandemic times. Let us hear from a very successful Rajkumar Perumal.
Okay, thank you so much for bringing me on board here today. My name is Mr. Raj Kumar, and I'm representing International Paradise Connection Tours and Travel, a 24-year-old company that has been specializing for educational tours, corporate tours, and for event management for the last 24 years since our inception. Now, I'm going to walk you through a little bit about what our company is and the milestone that we came about during COVID and how we emerge as successful winners along the way. So now, a quick introduction. This is our company, International Paradise Connection. Once again, we are an established partner. We are in a framework agreement with the Ministry of Education. And what is more important is I'm being an ex-student of the Singapore Poly. I'm proud to be an alumni to come back and share with you, what Singapore Poly has done to me. I mean, of course, only good things. They have done fantastic improvement in my life, my journey that I felt today there's a need to share with what I've experienced all this while. So, we specialize in educational tours, and moving forward, we've been moving on from strength to strength to become one of the players for educational tourism, not only in Singapore, not only in Southeast Asia, but Asia Pacific on the whole. We have clients, schools calling us from India, China, Thailand, and we believe in the sky is the limit, and we have moved on from strength to strength. Now, this journey that I wanted to share with you guys is going to be very interesting. That I think you can hear to what I'm going to share with you. As I mentioned earlier, we are a Ministry of Education appointed agent, travel agent. Why we are very unique? Because imagine in Singapore, we have about 1,000 over travel agencies, and we need to compete. And that's where we needed to have the wow factor, we call it, the thinking out of the box ability, and to distinguish ourselves from the rest. So what we did is we invested in virtual learning as what other tech players, even Facebook has done so in revamping their branding to metaverse. We moved on to virtual reality strictly and a little bit of augmented reality. But today, this has brought us to greater heights in our business because uniquely, schools or our corporate clients highly appreciate this journey because they find this experience very exciting. Now, the journey that we took was a difficult path, especially the last 2 years. I mean, everybody would agree. COVID hit the hospitality on the whole on a big scale. The airline was impacted, the hotels were impacted, travel agents like us were impacted. But we, more important than all that we can put it aside. But more important than all that, we had, issues about putting all our staffs. We used to have 50 staffs pre-COVID because of the volume of business that we generated, and we were in a couple of contracts with the government agencies. But do we need this amount of staff during the COVID time? So we made our workforce lean. We brought in a lot of technology investment, and we only kept our fellow Singaporeans in place, and or the rest of the Malaysians that we had no choice, but we had to let them go so that we were lean. Now that was the key areas that we had about on the employability topic. To stay connected with the audience was tough. Now the only means of connection was social media. So we needed to be in contact with the clients. So through social media, through our means of personal contact, we kept in contact with our clients like teachers, educators, and corporate clients. Now, working from home has its pros and cons. For me as an entrepreneur, I would love to see all my staffs, all my 50 staffs coming back to office. In front of me, we have a meeting, nothing like a physical meeting. I think you guys will agree. But the situation, we had to follow government's protocol strictly. We had to report the number of days certain staffs can come to work. But end of the day, it all benefited us. We kept in contact with the staff on a weekly basis. We met on Zoom. We shared their personal experience because our company's tagline is "We are family." So we wanted to keep this family as how we keep our family back home. So that was something that what set us apart from the rest. Now, this journey was a difficult journey. To be honest, last 2 years we had a lot of issues about critical thinking. Now we wanted to make sure that we were on the right path because we were standing on a knife edge. Our strategies had to be innovative. If not, we lose our steam with our competitors. Our clients called us, say that, hey, guys, IPC is always known for its uniqueness, its innovation, its creativity, but can you come up with something that can help our students or our staff during these COVID times, without having COVID risks? Because, when you go out, there's higher risk of getting contracted with COVID. So we are one of the very few travel company, can you believe, have our own R&D, research and development, and our research and developments are actually interns from schools, because kids are creative. We want to work with the kids. We want to put the kids' creativity into good use and to unleash their inner potentiality. We brought the kids on board on our internship program. We sit down with them, we brainstorm with them. That's where the virtual reality transform happens. So basically, the program that we have set upon on the virtual reality, it is made by the students for the students, So this journey was very fulfilling for us. because we were just a platform to reach out to our audience. Now, technology was of utmost importance, autonomous. Social media uprising. Why? Social media uprising here means that we needed to be very unique in how we reach out, because we can't visit our audience like, we used to visit schools physically to do a presentation. So we had to be, not that we want to, but we had to be good in our presentation skills, in our Zoom skills, those which we were not very competent prior, but we upgraded ourselves thanks to government's upskilling grants. The government support has been really tremendous. Without them, that we wouldn't have come this far, even sitting in front of you guys and talking. I have to thank the government support all this while. Now, moving forward, this is what the reality is. We invested in virtual reality. Virtual reality, we have our own in-house tagline, the future of learning. Why is it the future of learning? It's because everybody speaks about virtual reality. You flip the papers every day, there's some topic about virtual reality. It's about metaverse. It's about healthcare embracing virtual reality, and about construction industry. By the way, we're also currently doing a project for a construction industry where they do safety courses on a virtual reality platform. That's amazing. You see, there's a lot of accident that happens in a construction site. So basically, without the physical going up there on a safety course, you can get the same objective fulfilled without the risk. So the whole experience was excellent, fulfilling. Even for our education, it was really unique because we were able, prior to COVID, we used to handle about 50,000 students a year, primary, secondary, junior colleges, universities, tertiary, you name it, international schools, Singapore, Malaysia. But all this came to a standstill. So what we could do was to come up to revolutionize the whole concept. We put virtual reality, we put programs, the similar programs into the headsets. Our tagline pre-COVID was bringing classroom studies into reality. Now it is the other way around, is classroom studies back into the now it's the reality back into the classroom studies. So vice versa, we brought this whole change. It was revolutionary. Without the government support, I'm telling you, they were very useful to us in guiding us, in making sure that we were in the right direction, right path. So once again, I got to thank them. So there is a lot of benefit in this virtual reality, fulfilling school's mission, vision, and then leadership qualities. Students' leadership qualities are not impaired. They learn as much as they can. And last but not least is about the sustainability. Now, sustainability is something very close to my heart. I'm an advocate of sustainability. There is no impact on virtual reality, no environmental impact, not like on a flight you travel, there is carbon emission, on a hotel carbon emission. So that is what I'm so happy and so passionate about. Minimize the COVID risk. You don't want kids to go on a trip coming back on a cluster case. So we are very careful and we put all the risks aside. We put all our safety measures in place. And currently our program is well engined with higher safety standard. And we hire a team of cleaners to make sure that every time it's met to the expected cleanliness standard. Now, a quick introduction about the insight into the industry that we are facing now. At the start of this pandemic, the labor market was filled with a lot of uncertainty and challenges. Now, here we are moving forward towards a recovery period as we speak now. The new global phenomenon has occurred. So what is the new phenomenon we're talking about? The Great Resignation. Employers now see the impact of the pandemic as the staff reassesses their careers and leave for workplace in record numbers. So you guys must have heard about what is Great Resignation. So what I want to advise, there's some advice from an expert like me, and ex-student, and also some you need to be very sure of what you are planning to do. So you need to start planning your career age even now, right? For students, you should start, some of the key areas that you need to do is, sometimes you can do company visits through your school or through organization like us. We organize a lot of company visits. Now, alumni sharing, like what I'm doing today, is important. So it gives you an insight of what to expect, what not to expect, and so that you are fully sure of your future moving ahead. Mentorship program is also very good, and I do a lot of mentorship. And some time ago, we also did a lot of mentorship with NUS to help students to, there's a lot of incubators program where we help them on their startup. And there's a lot of things that, students like you must start getting involved in social media. LinkedIn is a good platform where you can also meet expert in the industry and understand how they could be of help to you. Speak to them anytime. I'm more than happy to speak to you guys, just anytime, even in the daytime. I can drop you an email, just buzz me, and then I will be able to help you, give you my expertise on what you should do, what you should look forward to. Make sure you don't make the wrong decision when it comes to career, because career is a lifelong thing, right? So you need to plan. Instead of you changing your career every 2-3 years, it is also good to stay longer in a company to get a better exposure, to better understand what the company has to offer. Now, with that note, I want to thank all of you for inviting me today. I hope this session was useful, impactful, and it is a very short glimpse of what we can expect for our future. Anytime, I'm more than happy to jump on board this bandwagon with you guys, because career is a very important step in your life after your work. You need to translate all your academic skills and then non-academic skills, lifelong skills, into a working world. Now, the transition may be a little bit tricky, but eventually you will fit in. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. So you need to be sure, you need to be competent moving forward to understand what the real world is, what to expect, and how you can embrace yourself for the changes, building a resilience mindset for a real working world. So please do call me anytime that you feel that you need my help. I'm more than happy to help students, because you guys are the future of tomorrow. So I'm more than happy. Please give me a call. And with that note, I would like to thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the management of the Singapore Polytechnic. Thank you, the students, for this opportunity. We look forward in more such sessions. Thank you once again. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So thank you so much, Mr. Rajkumar, as well as Miss Hannah Shun. I think Mr. Rajkumar covered pretty much a few things. Okay. So towards the end, I think he mentioned as well, career path advice. You got to be sure of what you want to do. So got to set a goal now. Some of you might think that still young, still early, yes. But of course, if you know what you want to do already, it is a very, very good head start for you. Okay. And I think a few things similarly that Rajkumar and Miss Hannah did cover is LinkedIn. Yes, okay, LinkedIn is something that all of you should go and create. Okay, it's a very, very good platform, professional platform for you to meet others and to connect with other people for job opportunities. And another thing is mentors. Okay, find a mentor. Okay, that can guide you along. This mentor can be a senior, a veteran in the industry. Okay, someone who can guide you, can teach you along in this industry. Okay, and a few things that I guess Miss Hannah mentioned, okay, that got me quite interested as well. The AQ, CQ, DQ, and EQ, your adversity quotient, curiosity quotient, your decency quotient, and of course your emotional intelligence, and how you should discover, okay, your ikigai, your sweet spot. Okay, you gotta know your personality, your attitude, and what your passion. Okay, what's your passion? What do you have passion about? Okay, so these are things that they have mentioned, and I hope that our viewers, ladies and gentlemen, all of you have absorbed and digested this information that I have given you. All right, before we begin our panel discussion, okay, we have another quiz. Okay, quiz question number 2 for you guys. Okay, so if you may similarly take out your phones once again, get ready to answer this question number 2. Prizes are to be won. Question 2, please. Singapore is a global financial center. Is it true or is it false? Okay, for those of you who have already answered question 1, I believe you know what to do. Scan the code or type in the URL and answer this question number 2. Singapore is a global financial center. A, true, or is it B, false? Which do you think is the correct answer? Okay, quickly answer the question, because right after this, we have a panel discussion with all of our speakers. Okay, we will have Mr. Farhan Firdaus once again, Miss Hannah Shun again, and of course, Mr. Raj Kumar as well. And last but not least, we will have our moderator, Mr. Rajan, to moderate this panel discussion segment. Okay, so if you guys will want to, you have any burning questions that you want to ask, okay, quickly type into the panel, okay, on the right side of your screen now. Okay, once you have answered our quiz question, okay, type your questions into the panel discussions box at your right side of the screen. Okay, ask your questions, okay, about the industry. What should you do? Any advices for yourself? Okay, quickly type it in, okay, and we'll have them to answer. And right now, okay, we'd like to proceed with our panel discussion, because I believe some of you have a lot of questions you want to be answered. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, to our panelists, to Mr. Rajan, the stage is yours.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Derek. That's doing a wonderful job summarizing what our speakers have said and so on. And you have saved a lot of time and effort for me. So I really must thank you for that. Farhan, I must thank you for giving me a suggestion in the sense that we should be doing a lot of internships and so on. I've taken up your suggestion. I'm now doing industry attachment. And by a twist of fate, my boss is Hannah Shun. And whatever harm that I did to her when she was a student, she is doing onto me. Okay, that's payback time for her. Right. And Raj Kumar, you also mentioned about in-person meetings and so on. And if you recall, the way we met each other is really through this in-person conference or seminar that we had.
That's right.
At DBS building. If not for that, I don't think I would have come across you at such an early stage. Maybe much later I might have, but it really helped. Right. Okay, I have this question for you before I move on to the questions from the audience, which is, when you all were students, what was it that happened that helped you in your future? I don't want to know about your modules. I don't want to know about your CCAs, but your student life would have imparted something to you. What is it that helped you in your future? So, ladies first, Hannah, my boss, please.
Well, thank you very much, Rajan. I wouldn't dare to give you more work or scold you, just for the record. Yeah, I think the biggest skill that I took away with me when I was a student was time management and prioritizing. The reason is because my family wasn't well off when I was studying, so I had to work part-time. And that meant that, in addition to the tutorials and, coping with school and dealing with deadlines, project work, exams, you also have to learn to manage your time well. And I think that is a very good life skill that a lot of us need. Some of us, we learn it in school. Some of us, we learn it at work. And some of us, we just learn it from life.
Okay, Hannah, if I can also remind you, despite all that you're going through, you had a good cheer about you. And I see that you've still maintained that. Keep it up. Okay. Farhan, you. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yep. I think just to answer your question, Rajan, I think for me was pretty much hunger, right? So that could probably explain my size now, but I think I was extremely hungry when I was a polytechnic student, and then I had fire in my belly and stuff like that. But the reason is also, I think kind of quite similar to Hannah, was that I think so my family was okay, but we were quite badly hit during the Asian financial crisis. So I think my dad was very badly affected. That I think he became a vegetable. So he had mild stroke, And then at the age of probably 16, 17, I had to become the head of the house. So so I think it was because of pressure and this kind of I would say these challenges built resilience, and I don't know why, but I think I was just hungry to build up myself and my family again. And that's why when I started going to SP and stuff like that, I was excelling in school, or at least I was trying to excel in school. And I was super hungry at the CCA level. I was being president of this, being president of that, begging this award and all that. So I think it's pretty much I think kind of like proving myself that I can do it, but also I think biggest motivation is actually hunger.
Raj Kumar, I want to hear from you about this topic because you are not from the School of Business.
Right.
You are from the engineering side. So I was wondering how your experience there or something that happened that molded you.
Okay. Actually, very similar that my answers. It's very close to Mr. Farhan and Miss Anna. But something more different was I always, from young, I believed in myself. That is the resilience that I have till today, this very moment as we speak. Even in my school, they used to focus when we do engineering, we go to the lab or all those technical work. They always give us the independence to do our own things. That helped me to build my resilience. Of course, time management is key, and just I come from also a very difficult family, not a bed of roses. My dad was already retired when I was in poly. So, we have a bit of an age gap in Indian families, it happens. So for me, I was very hungry to show the world that I can do something good for my father, because we were worried. And, every day I see him sitting at home. So I was very driven. In fact, while I was studying in poly, I used to do part-time work. I think I did mention during car wash business. So, I'm very monetary driven and very centric towards in achieving. So the achieving mindset is what brought me this far today.
Okay, we'll move on to questions that have come in. And this seems to be more for Farhan because it's about startup. But we'll see how it goes. Because question is, what is your advice if I want to build network in the startup industry? Where should I start? So we'll start with Farhan, but because it's about networking, we'll also seek the inputs of the other panelists. Okay, Farhan, startup industry, how to network?
Yeah, thanks, Rajan. So I take it that the question again first. Thanks for the question. I take it that I think the question is very much how to network with I would say maybe fellow founders and investors, right? So I think first and foremost, I think the Singapore government has an excellent platform called SG Startups. So you can go online and then you can type SG Startups. So basically, it is a platform by Enterprise Singapore, and that's where the thousands of startups are all there, right? So then you can register yourself, and then when you can connect with fellow founders or investors, so that's one way. But there are also other ways whereby you can also join your school's incubator. So there's a SP spinoff. So within spinoff itself, when you are part of spinoff, you can also network with other founders. And spinoff is actually part of a polytechnic, a cluster of polytechnic incubators, right? So these are just some examples. And the Singapore government under Enterprise Singapore has an event called the Singapore Week for Innovation and Technology, Switch. And from what I know, mostly for students, it's free, right? So students, so it's always held somewhere between October and November, and students can go and attend Switch. And and basically you will have access to a lot of resources to learn about technology, entrepreneurship. Everything's online, and basically you can also get an opportunity to meet people. You can connect with them, and then if they want to have a chat with you. So I think this is just some simple suggestions on how to connect with others, both online and offline.
Yes, simple suggestions, but valuable suggestions. Now I'll move to Hannah. Same thing. Hannah, I know networking has helped a lot when you started your business venture. How did that come about? This networking, what's the secret to your success?
Well, I think when it comes to networking, a lot of people do find it very hard to talk to people. So I think the very first thing to do is to get over yourself and get over your fear of talking to people. The other thing is to have the right perspective. You know, a lot of people are not as scary as you think they are. So yeah, the important thing is really just take an interest in people around you, or take an interest in the person you want to talk to. If it's, you know, if it's a networking event for a very say a formal event, you roughly know who is going to be there, or say you want to network with the panel speaker, what I would recommend is you do your homework beforehand, get to know who this panel speaker is, get to know a bit about the person, what the person has been up recently. For example, you can even check out their LinkedIn pages. You know, people like to post about, you know, what they've been up to or what their latest project is, and engage the person meaningfully. So I would say two things. One is always take a genuine interest in the person. And the second is, you know, if it's something intentional, then go and find out something a bit about this person, and don't go in cold.
Okay, I have a question for Raj Kumar, but before that, let me also add, Raj Kumar lives by what he says when he said that I believe in being environmentally friendly. I personally experienced it because when I met him, I said, okay, let's have an exchange of cards. And then he said, no, I don't carry a physical card. I'll send you a message, okay? And that's how we'll keep in touch. So he does live by what he says. Raj Kumar, the question here from the audience is, how do we know which career path suits us best?
Okay, so first for moving forward, thank you for the question, Mr. Rajan. I just give you
Just call me
in the
Rajan,
context.
please. Just call me Rajan.
Okay, sure, Rajan. So in the context of you know, sports, we talk about football. When a player starts establishing himself, you don't know where is he good in. You know, he could be a good striker, midfielder, or a defender, or even a goalkeeper, right? So it's the job of the coach to put him at the right spot. Then, you know, to know where he is good in, and then potentially he will know his value after he starts playing for some time. So similarly, I would love the kids, our students from poly, to explore themselves. You know, like a free flow to understand what do they like, because some of them are still lost at this point. You know, I take interviews. I'm in the hospitality industry. I got chemical engineering students come over to me. You know, so what we need them to explore, and then work with passion. You know, do what the heart tells them. Then they can stay longer in the company. So this is my advice to them. And also one more thing before I add my answer, I wish students should travel more, you know, because Singapore is very limited by space. You travel more, like you can go to countries like India, Dubai, Europe. Then you have more visibility. You're exposed to more community. Then you have a better understanding of how the ecosystem works.
You know, when I'm seated here as a moderator for this panel, I feel like a fraud because I never followed any one of the suggestions that were given here. See? The way I chose my career was that I got my results. I then decided that I'll apply to all the organizations that I think I qualify for. Whoever offers me the job first, I'll take it up. That's it. I wish I had panelists like you knocking on my head and saying that, look, that's not the way to decide. You know, you got to network, this, that, and so on. And, you know, it's so nice to hear from you all on that. Okay, there's this question.
Rajan, sorry.
Yeah.
Can I interrupt?
No, please, not an interruption, please.
Yeah, thanks, Rajan. So I beg to differ, you know, because I think you from the story that you share, you actually apply what you again, like what we shared, right? And that was your transition from MINDEF to MOE. So I think that was definitely very evident of like some of the points that we shared that you actually applied. So you should be the guru, yeah.
He's the guru.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly with Raj Kumar and Fahan because I think Rajan, you have really brought your skills from MINDEF, from advising ministers to students. And how many lecturers can say that, or how many of us can say that?
No, I think not many.
Okay, I can go back and sleep easy now, that I made the right decision. Thanks for that heartening note. Okay, let's move on to the question from the audience. Do employers look at qualification first or experience and passion? So this is open to you all. Y'all are employers. So who wants to go first? Okay, this is like a tutorial already. Okay, Hannah, answer.
I think first of all, what I'll look out for is, definitely qualifications. It's like the entry test, right? But if everybody has the same qualifications, then what next? And I think that your diploma is a minimum. It opens up doors because it tells me that you have learned, X, Y, Z in school. And this is important to start a good foundation or some cornerstones for you to take on the work that is required. So I would say that education is a must, but other than education, what I also look for are aptitude and attitude. Yeah, so those two are things that, education cannot teach you or what money cannot buy. A person's attitude will determine how far he or she will go in life. So simple things like manners, simple things like social graces, or simple things like even little things like punctuality, coming in on time, saying please and saying thank you, or even things like, acknowledging the receptionist in the lobby. These are things that I will look out for because these tell me a lot more about the person's character and personality. And these go beyond the grades. Yeah, so that's...
Yeah.
Sorry, yes, Rajan?
No, carry on. You wanted to say something?
So I think one of the examples that happened to me in the very first or second job that I applied for, I was not the most qualified person. And I think the school valedictorian came and applied as well. So I was definitely not the most qualified person there. And I definitely did not have a GPA of 4.0. I think mine was like low threes or, so. But I got the job and I always wondered why. So later on, when I asked my boss about it, she said that education qualifications can only open so much. But what happened was the receptionist came in and vouched for you and said you were the only person who said hi to her and thanked her after that for opening the meeting room doors for you. And that was something very precious to me that I take away because I think, this sort of things actually show a lot more about a person's character and upbringing, far more than what an education or a paper cert can do.
Okay, thanks. I did try being nice to the receptionist, but I was always given the suspicious look. So I sort of moderated that, you see. So, Fahan, what about you? What would you look for?
Yeah, thanks, Rajin. So I think just quickly around to Hannah's point. So Hannah touched on the soft skills. I probably just touched quickly on the hard skills. So yeah, I do totally agree with Hannah. For my, for me, what I look out for, again, for the roles at Meet Ventures, essentially, I either hire diploma students or master degree students. It's for two different roles, right? So and one thing that is very similar about these two roles that have two different vastly spread out qualifications is that for example the diploma students, I think many a times I struggle for to find those with technical skills, right? So they learn a lot of theoretical things, etc., but when it comes to using certain software and all that, I think they struggle. But when it comes to master degree students, right? Again, that is the most difficult job role, the managerial positions that I hire for. Because all of them have a paper, right? If I just throw at a group of them, most of them will have a bachelor's degree, and then quite a number of them have masters. But I think where what distinguishes them from each other is, I would say, relevant experience. The problem that I find, especially when one goes up in the career ladder, or rather, from poly to uni and so on, right, is that they tend to scatter in their industries. They don't stick to one industry. They don't stick to one role. So when we as employers want to award that job to them, we're like, okay, I want to hire you. But then, at one moment you were a purchasing manager, second moment you were marketing, third moment you were. So I think that these are some of the challenges that we face. So I think building hard skills, when you brand yourself as a specialist, or you're good at what you do, you don't have to be the best, but you're good at what you do, and it's evident from your experience. Then I think that makes a person very attractive to hire. I think I'll pass the time over to Raj.
Yes, and
Yeah.
after Raj has answered, I'm going to hand over the time to Derek, our MC, who will round up the program.
Sure.
Raj Kumar? Yes.
So for me, I'm somewhere in between both of you. So, for me, I think communication skill is very important. You see, a lot of the times that when I go attend school debates, a lot of our kids not really up there yet. I think what we need is to see that confidence when they speak up. One of the reasons when I was running a business, and then I'm just sharing with you a small incident. A district judge, in fact, he's one of the famous ones in Singapore. He called the office, and that time, in the beginning, early stage of my business, we had about 5 of us. And, I picked up the phone and I said, very seldom in Singapore, you see people addressing sir, how are you, sir? Good day. Wishing you have a good day. It is very difficult. I don't think you will hear such things when you call an organization. What they'll do is, as fast as possible, they try to cut you and put down the phone eventually, right? So for me, I attended to this judge, said, how are you, sir? Thank you, sir. Wishing you a good day. I look forward in seeing you. And I addressed him by his name. And you know what? He got so fascinated. And until today, very day, he takes the business with me. So I think communication is important. Empathy skills is very important. And social skills, how you carry it. Sometimes you go abroad, you see the kids are just mind-blowing. We want our kids to have that talent in them. So I think for me, it's the communication part.
So, Rajkumar, if I could just get it correct. So you address the district judge by name instead of just calling sir and so on?
Yes,
Okay.
That's how he liked it to be. So he wants it to be called by his name. And I was very concise. We need to respect people for what they are, right? And he was very happy. He said, very unusual in Singapore, I get a company that goes this far. So, that's very important, I think. So communication is very important. You need to be confident. You need to show people that, you know your work and things like that. So confidence and communication.
Thanks for that, because Hannah will vouch for this. For the past 20 years, I've insisted that all my students just call me Rajan, precisely because of what you have done with the district judge. And it's precisely for that reason, instead of calling Mr. Derek Ho, I'm going to call Derek to round up the program. Derek, over to you.
Thank you so much, Rajan. Thank you. You're a very, very humorous guy. I had so much laughter during the whole panel discussion. But yes, a couple of questions that you guys covered that I feel I should reiterate a few of the points. Yeah, so our viewers, ladies and gentlemen, you guys can get to listen to it one more time in the case where you missed it. Okay, I believe at the start, Rajan, you asked our panelists, what is it in their student life that helped them out till now? I believe Hannah mentioned time management and prioritizing on what you should do first. And of course, time management is definitely very, very important, not only in your career, but generally in your life. No matter what you do, time management is very important. And Farhan, I believe you mentioned, due to your family reasons, you had pressure and you had challenges put upon you, and that built the resilience in yourself for you to achieve what you have today. And for Raj Kumar, similarly, since young, he has believed in himself, he know what he want to do, and he's very focused on achieving the goals that he set for himself. And I think towards the end, okay, this question, I believe a lot of our viewers are concerned about as well. Do employers look at qualification or experience first? This, I feel, is very, very relatable because when I just graduated, I had this question in mind as well. Should I just go out and work, or should I go and take up a degree? And I think Hannah mentioned education is a must, but to her, aptitude and attitude, these are the values that employers will cherish, and these are the values that will bring you far in life. And this cannot be taught in school. Okay, a lot of things cannot be taught in school. Okay, the school can only teach you so much, which is beneficial for you, but you have to go out and you learn and you experience certain things, and that things that you learn, skill sets, experiences or incidences that you occur, mistakes that you make, this will help you out a lot. And for Farhan, okay, I think you mentioned, okay, you have seen certain diploma holders, they are good, people who you hire, but sometimes you have trouble trying to explain to them, the technical part of the job scope, and for master degree holders, there are different style when it comes to communicating and working with them. So I believe you mentioned as well that building hard skill to develop to be a specialist in that is important. And for Raj Kumar, okay, I would summarize yours into three points. Okay, I would say communication skills, and as well you mentioned empathy skills and social skills are very important. And I thoroughly agree, okay, with the social and communication skills. Reason why? Because I do meet poly students these days who don't know how to communicate properly, in a sense where they have a tough time trying to present themselves professionally, and it turns out to be very, very weird. So this is something that same thing, this cannot be taught in school. So you got to go out and experience. As days, as months goes by, you will know what to do. All right, so that's for our panel discussion. And once again, I would really, really like to thank our speakers, Hannah, Farhan, and also Raj Kumar for joining us today, sharing on your experiences and enlightening our viewers today. And as well as Mr. Rajan for moderating this session as well. Okay, right now, okay, we will have our quiz question number 3. Okay, question number 3 for you guys. Okay, so our viewers, you may stand by to take out your phones because the QR code is going to come out right now. Okay, question number 3. Businesses must leverage on what to stay competitive and evolve? Is it A, innovation, B, research, C, technology, or D, social media? Which do you think is the correct answer? Okay, just let me repeat the question one more time. Businesses must leverage on what to stay competitive and evolve? Is it A, innovation? Is it B, research? Is it C, technology? Or is it D, social media? Okay, since it's the last question of the day, okay, let me give you guys a little bit of a hint, all right, a little bit of a hint, so you stand more chance to win the cash vouchers. Okay, not too much of a hint, a little bit. Through this event, this virtual career symposium itself, right? Which of these points are we touching on? Did we use? Is it innovation? Is it research? Is it technology? Or is it social media that we use so this event can move on, can be conducted in the manner that it is conducted now? Okay, so hint has been given. I hope you have already answered the question. All right, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, okay, we are coming towards the end of our webinar for business management. But of course, before we leave, ladies and gentlemen, okay, one more thing I need you to do for me is that I need your honest feedback about what? Okay, I need you to scan a new QR code this time. Okay, so this QR code over here is for our feedback form. Okay, so let us know on how you think of this event, and of course, how we can improve this so that in the future, we can bring better of such events to you. Okay, so quickly scan out this QR code. Why? Because not only you can let us provide a better event in the future, you also get to stand a chance to win cash vouchers once again by filling in this feedback form. Okay, so if you participated in the quiz and you have took part in this feedback form, okay, it's two separate set of prizes, so you might get to win both. Okay, if you took part in all of them. Okay, so please let us know of your honest feedback so we can bring you a better event. Okay, and so, okay, with that, okay, that is the end of our business management webinar, and which is our last session, session 5 for today. However, if you are interested, tomorrow is the last day of our series of webinars. Okay, we will start off with session 6 for engineering. Okay, that is at 10 a.m. and following on, okay, at 3 p.m. Okay, tomorrow, 3 p.m. That is our last session for maritime webinar. Okay, so once again, it is 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. tomorrow. So if you want to join us, get your friends to join us. All right, and with that, okay, that is the end of day 2 of our Singapore Polytechnics Virtual Career Symposium 2022, where we bring journeying with you beyond SP. My name is Derek, signing off.